So I have deformed it slightly with the deformation tools that we have available for us in animation mode. Different modes actually made different qualities of transformation, as you can see. And now it's time to actually render this and see how we can do that. We're going to learn how to do the render in the basics of Mentoray. So for that, we're going to actually go to these tabs over here, which basically relate to rendering process. So if we press to this button, the render settings will show up, and we just need to make sure that we have the Mentoray option press here. It will take a while the first time, but then very immediately you will have all these options, extra options for rendering possibilities in Maya. No? Some of the ones that we're going to have to change basically are the quality, the indirect lighting, and of course the common, because we'll have the option to give a resolution, and also if you want to render an animation or any other option, we'll do it there. So in common, we're gonna go scroll down to the width and height and the image size. We're gonna put 1 500 and 1 200 and enter. And in order to see what we are going to render, this is a button that we need to know. When we press it, it not only tells you the image size here, but also gives you like the square where the render is going to happen. So we need to make sure that whatever we render, that this is the composition that we're going to have to follow. You know? There's also a way of seeing the whole thing transparent if you want to work more in a more easy way. Okay, so that's one thing we have to change, and another one is actually in quality. We're going to change the Mentoray anti-aliasing quality to 2. I was playing this actually little by little as we go, better than doing it now. If we don't do anything to this and we render, there's this button here that takes the window and opens it up and allows us to render here by pressing there. But let's make sure that we render in low quality, so we know that it's not going to take so long. Let's go to test resolution and put it in 50 if you don't have it, or even 75, and render right now and see what comes. Okay, it's quite decent background black. Of course, we don't want it like that, and the materials haven't been assigned. So it's things that we want to make sure that we change. Actually, for the midterm, I'm thinking on having everybody render Mentoray in a very easy way, so we all have kind of a homogeneous prototype of render. So in that sense, we're going to go to the properties. The properties panel, we're going to place in anti-aliasing and quality, we're going to place 2. That pretty much sharpens and perfectionates the edge of the edges and the surfaces of the image. And here in multi-pixel filtering, we're going to place it in triangle. We're going to close this, and now we need to open up the materials, which is basically right-click here. You can say hypershade, render perspective as vertical as the option to put in the interface. And it takes a while. And let's close also the layer editor here. Actually, no, let's leave it on. Here we can actually extract materials that we're interested in. We need to go to Mentoray materials, and the ones we're interested in now is MIA material X, and this one shows up. We can, in this little window, pretty much you see all your materials that you manage imagine, so you can actually scroll out, scroll in, and even zoom, extend, and everything. So when you click outside, it's not selected. If you click it, it turns in yellow, so it highlights, and it gives you all the information of that material specifically. We can, of course, say Control A to the material and change the name to mushroom, for example, mushroom, and we'll probably want to maintain an X somewhere so we know it's the type of material that we have. And we're gonna pretty much assign all the mushrooms. Let's go to this mode. And if we go back to that option here, we can right click here and say assign material to render. We now can actually create another one. Let me see if you see it. Material X, and we can select it. We can say change the material to floor and X, for example. Select the floor, right click here, and assign material to selection. Okay, we have assigned materials to selection, so we can actually, we haven't done any presets that we'll do afterwards, but we can very easily just render this and see that already it's quite different. We'll see afterwards how do we put the sky in and everything else. So the preset, without changing a preset, it gives you a shininess and a level of reflections that obviously we're not gonna be interested in, and we'll see very easily how to change that. So